The Tomorrow War is directed by Chris McKay, who directed such films as the Lego Movie and the second Lego Movie. A family man is drafted to fight in a future war where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront the past. Starring Chris Pratt, Yvonne Stravinsky, J.K. Simmons, amongst others. This type of film is my cup of tea, but I'm definitely going to point out right first and foremost that if you're the type of person that likes to pick apart timey-wimey films, then you're probably not going to enjoy this. If you're the first type of person that sits there in a film that goes, yeah, that wouldn't quite work if you go there in this timeline and you follow that, that just doesn't work. For me, I love escapism. I have enough realism in my life, so when it comes to adventure, escaping film, I can kind of ignore certain plot aspects of films that tend to go a little bit off the beaten path and enjoy it for what it is. And that's what this film is for me. So Amazon jumped in there and bought this film. It was meant to go to the cinema, but obviously we've had COVID and that's kind of thrown all films out into like the void, going, when is this coming out? And we don't know still with some titles when they're coming out. However, we got this one and it came out earlier than we thought it was going to come out at the end of July. And so now we get it from our googly eyes. But is it any good? I'll let you know right now. I really like Chris Pratt as an action hero. I think on screen he really brings across that character, for me at least, that you kind of are immediately drawn to. He has that on-screen presence that you kind of root for the guy. So I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the Jurassic World films, even though we know they're not very good. We can kind of enjoy it and kind of get behind this hero. He's the, modern day version of the Tom Cruise, of the Harrison Ford, those kind of action stars. And so it's very easy for me to kind of fall into that, oh, there's a sci-fi, we've got a hero. But there is actually more story to this than I thought there was. We do go through a lot of wibbly wobbly timey-wimey stuff, but it starts off with a big bang of an action sequence and then with just world building. And for the most part, you enjoy the world building, but what is at the heart and the center of this film is two relationships. It's father and son, it's daughter and father. And those two relationships are what you're going to keep coming back to, kind of leaning on as to the emotional beat. You're not going to be like crying, you're not going to be like, oh, this is so sad or horrific. You're just going to be invested enough, or at least I was, to go on this adventure ride. The action set pieces as well are very well shot. It reminds me a lot of Live, Die and Repeat, that kind of Tom Cruise film, and mixed in with a bit of Aliens for sure. The creature creations are fantastic. You add in a little bit of Quiet Place and you're kind of getting in the realm of what this film is. It's not the best science fiction action film I've ever seen, but it's definitely enjoyable. It's definitely one I wouldn't mind watching again. So that should tell you something. You can get a one-off action film or a science fiction film, they're like, yeah, that was alright. A one-off wonder that you put on in the background, but I don't think that you will be too distracted. You won't clock watch too much. It is running at 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it's quite a long science fiction action film, but there's enough story there to keep you invested. However, there were a few beats in the film that I wondered whether they could shave down some of that timing, a bit of padding when they're doing a dump of exposition to try and get the audience caught up with what's actually going on in the storyline, especially when you're dealing with timey-wimey stuff. It starts getting a little bit, hang on a minute, is this the same sort of timey-wimey stuff we're talking about that Back to the Future do, or is this the sort of timey-wimey stuff that Avengers Endgame does? And so they're trying to explain and build their world, as well as build the world of these creatures and what is happening in the world. And you're bringing too many timelines into focus, and that always gets a little bit, and so we do suffer with that a little bit. However, the performances, I think, are exactly what you want them. I do think J.K. Simmons eats up the scenery with whatever he's given, and I really like him as the character. When J.K. Simmons and Chris Pratt are on screen together, I'm loving what's happening on screen. The action is believable and fun. Believable in a science fiction way, and then definitely plot protection for certain characters. And certain other characters are going to be fodder. You're definitely going to guess what's going to happen for the most part until you get to the end. And I didn't see it coming. Maybe I should have, but that was a little bit refreshing for me, because you can guess what's going to happen. This emotional beat's going to happen, and then the music's going to swell. And talking about this score, I'm loving Lorne Bell's scoring at the moment. Well, the last 5-6 years, I've loved what he's done. But sometimes the editing, the mix of his score can make it feel like It's purposely trying to make you feel an emotional beat in a certain moment really swell. My son, who is 16, yeah, got to get the age right, pointed it out to me, saying, yeah, this is just a corridor scene. And there was one moment with a corridor scene, it was really intense, where it was silent, and it was excellent. It was way more tense than when they had the music swelling in the same corridor scene. And so I thought, yeah, they could have actually just maybe used it in emotional bits or swelling action scenes, but not at the expense of the film and trying to force the viewer to. Yeah, you will definitely feel scared now because we're swelling. This is the action moment. And when that happens too much, then that means that your score is at the forefront of your film, which it really shouldn't be doing. It should be a part of the character, a part of the sum of the whole of the film that should make it what it is. So that is a slight negativity. Not on Lorne Balfe. I think he's a fantastic composer, just on the editing of it, the use of it in film. Little niggle, but that's just me and my son and my wife who was watching it with us. Putting that all aside, we really enjoyed it. This is definitely our cup of tea. If you're looking for a sort of blockbuster action popcorn fest with a world that's now been established, that the director himself has said, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing more of these, then I think you're in for a treat. It is a lot of fun. Don't think too hard about it, because I think if you're a person that likes to dissect things and ask yourself some questions and you'll be like, I'm not sure that quite works out, then I think you will find some plot holes or points in it. I'm going to talk a spoiler. I'm going to do like a kind of spoiler talking about the end separate video, so we can talk about our moments there or things that stood out to you. But I enjoyed it. For what it is. I knew what it was going into it, and that's exactly what I wanted. I'm going to give this a solid B+. Really enjoyed it. I like the performances. I like the world building. I thought it was reminiscent of a lot of kind of those sort of action sci-fi films that we get. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now and let you go and watch it. I hope you do. It's a lot of fun. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.